ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. So this mantra is a obeisances, pranam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Narayan Namaskritya. We are doing our namaskar to Nar Narayan Rishi. Narayan Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. We are offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, to Nar Narayan Rishi, who are the personification of the perfect human beings, unto Mother Saraswati, to Srila Vyasadeva. And we are saying that just by reciting this Bhagavad, we will conquer the cycle of birth and death. Now you listen carefully. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So by regularly attending these classes, Bhagavad, listening to this Bhagavad, so what happens? Nityam Bhagavad Seva. So it's Seva. When we are coming and studying Bhagavad, this is actually Seva. But it should be done Nityam, all the time. Not that sometime and leave and come go. So what will happen? Something very important will happen. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Whatever is in the heart, which is disturbing in the heart, it gets washed off. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Abhadrani meaning that which is inauspicious. Right? So it gets washed off. And bhakti will take place. So now we are going to recite the mantras on page 1 together. Page 1, there are a series of prayers. So we can recite together. Page 1. Hare Krishna. You got it? You got it? All right. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visabhutari Prabhupada Priya Shri Girirajaya Swami Subhakta Ras Bihari Bhakti Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Visabhutari Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Srimad Acharya Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangham Langayate Giriyat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Deenataram Hare Krishna. So we spent the last couple of sessions revising Bhagavad Gita. So from now on we will continue. So we have till Kartik, that's in month of October. So we have May, June, July, August, September. We have 5 months. In 5 months we'll see if we can complete. All right? See, I'm encouraged when you are present. Otherwise I have to read by myself. So our group keep on, coming, going. So yeah, this room used to be at least half full. So please do be here. And I can 100% say that I benefit the most from all these classes because when I read, again and again, at least 25 times I have been verse by verse through Bhagavad Gita with different groups, So, but I can 100% say that it's ever fresh, ever new. Krishna's words are ever fresh. New message, new understanding, new impact. So, now let's read text. So we are chapter 6. We are on text 15. So this chapter is entitled Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga. Sorry? 15. 15, 1, 5. 1, 5. Did we complete? Did we do chapter text 15? We completed 15. Okay. So we'll do 16 then. Natyasnatastu yogosti. 16. 1-6, no? Okay, 15. We have to do 15. All right, so that's what I'm asking. Okay, 15. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogini yatamanasaha shantim nirvana paramam matsamstham adhikacchati. Yes, so this is Dhyan Yoga. So Krishna is now telling us how we practice this Dhyana Yoga the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashta Anga. So there are, what are the different types of yogas? Yes? Yeah, I'm asking now, first thing, what are the different yoga processes? There are 4. Which one are they? Pen and paper, everybody. Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, then Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga. Alright? So here, in this movement, we practice Bhakti Yoga. Alright? Bhakti Yoga. So this chapter is describing Ashtanga Yoga, which consists of 8 parts. Anga means part. Ashta means 8. So now Krishna is describing the preliminary, how you practice Ashtanga Yoga. See, everybody say, we want to meditate. Right? You say, we want to meditate. So what will you meditate on? Right? What your attitude should be if you want to meditate. Meditate means that we are focusing on one point. Meditate meaning that our entire attention is on one point only. Right? Now all of us, know very well how our mind is scattered. Right? So yoga is to bring together the mind in one place only. Whichever process it may be, at the end of it all, they want to bring your mind focus on one point only. So there is some prerequisite for us to be able to engage in yoga. What is the meaning of yoga? Yes, we are linking. So we want to link. So it's the soul who want to link with Krishna. Right? We want to link. So for that link to happen, there has to be a path. Right? For the link to happen, there has to be a path. Okay? So this is what we mean by the process, the yoga process. Now, before you start that process, there has to be a preparation of the consciousness. So this chapter, Krishna described the preparation, so that you are properly situated. So Krishna said that you have to use your mind properly. Because in all the yoga processes, we are addressing one point only, that's the mind. Alright? So we say, oh yeah, I'm going for my yoga classes. What are you going for yoga classes? Exercises, right? Exercises. So Krishna is telling us, so the yoga system is for you to train and mold the mind so that it remains focused on one point only. Right? So Krishna is giving it from text 4, 5, it goes on. So first, the prerequisite. Krishna says you should be able to give up material desires. Very simple. If you want to remember Krishna, you can't make plans for so many material enjoyment, right? Because Krishna and sense gratification, they are opposite. Right? They're opposite. It's like I want to be sinful, I want to be pious, at the same time not ready to give up sinful activities. So you're going to fail, right? So if you want Krishna, then we should be ready to give up our sense enjoyment. Sense enjoyment means I focus. Everything is about selfie. Right? You go anywhere in this world. including in the temples. Right? It has never been so obvious as when the phone became selfie. Previously, you have to bring your camera, or, it was not very obvious. But now, selfie, right? So Krishna consciousness means no more I-centeredness, me-centeredness, no more. It is Krishna who is the center, not me the center. So before we proceed, so that we don't get Krishna wrong, what is the problem with being me-centered? What is the problem? Because we are saying to center. One I'm saying me-center, and the other one I'm saying Krishna-center. Yes. Yes. So what's the problem with this? Like we are saying, shift.
Our mind is shifting. So our goal is not Krishna. Whatever we are doing is for ourselves. We are not keeping Krishna at the center of it.
Yeah. Now what's the problem? What's the problem with this me-centeredness?
Because we are involving in ourselves to some material things. We are not focused on Krishna.
Okay, I'll tell you. Srila Prabhupada gives an example. He says that if I take one stone and I throw it in a lake, there is going to produce ripples. Alright? So I throw my stone in one place, it will produce ripples. You take your stone, meaning you, I and you. You take your stone and you throw at your own spot. What will happen? It will produce ripples. My ripples and your ripple, what will happen? Yes. Then? Alright, you understand? You got the message. You get the message.
So the problem is that we tend to fight, we tend to...
Yes. Yes. Meaning that when I have my center, you have your center. We are bound to clash and everything will get destroyed. Right? My ripple will disappear, your ripple will disappear. Right? Whereas, if you and me, all of us, we throw our stone in the same center, what will happen? What will happen? This is physics, actually, we learned that in physics. But it's common experience also. If everybody throw their stone in the same center, the concentric circles will increase. It will go on increasing, meaning that everybody will be benefited. Alright? So this Krishna is not Krishna's ego. Follow? This is Krishna's binding all of us. So we should not feel envious of Krishna. Why Krishna? Why Krishna? You will never forget this. This is the ABC that Srila Prabhupada taught us. And this point of centeredness. We are telling you or teaching you something that motivational speakers, that psychologists, they teach you by charging you a huge fee. Right? I have attended courses, the books written on all this, about self-centeredness, family-centeredness, community-centeredness. Alright? They will teach you what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage, right? But in Krishna consciousness, they will teach you that beyond the family center, beyond the community center, right, there is the Krishna center. Because Krishna is the center of all living entities. He is the source of all living entities. Alright? So Krishna can gather together everybody. If we want to stop the war that is going right now, how can we stop the war? Based on what we just spoke. How can we stop that war?
Do meditation. Leaving the ego aside.
Yeah. So, that ego is happening because of the sense of proprietorship. So Krishna here will tell us. So first point was about the mind being the enemy. Alright? So meaning that we want to make the mind become our friend. Alright? So Krishna in text 5 says that mind is the culprit. Either the mind is our friend or is the enemy. So mind becomes our friend when we give up the desire for enjoyment, sense enjoyment. Right? So then you can make your mind become your friend. Because when the mind becomes your enemy, brothers will fight for property. Right? I'm giving one example. Right now, what is the whole fight about? It's for land. It's for land, it's for resources, right? Everybody say, it's mine, let me enjoy over you. I'm more powerful than you. I should capture you, right? So, meaning that the mind, there is a misunderstanding in the mind. So that misunderstanding has to be removed. So therefore, knowledge is given because the mind has no, it's neutral. Actually, by nature, the mind is neutral. It doesn't have reasoning power. The mind reacts. It's emotional, right? The mind is emotional. And then it is just thoughts. Some image come in our mind and it focuses on that image that, oh yeah, this looks good. Right? And I'm thinking, yes, I think it'd be good. So then I start to chase after it. Alright? And it's like a child. Children, they don't distinguish. Whatever they see, they think, yes, this looks good. That's how you fool a child. Right? Because there's no reasoning power. There's only sensory power. Alright? And the mind is the central switch of all the senses. Our hearing, our tasting, our smelling, our seeing, our touch. Alright? So if the touch feels good, then mind says, yes, I want this. Right? Let's say I put chocolate on the tongue. It's smooth. Right? So I said, oh, the touch feels good. Right? So then I want to taste it. So actually, who's experiencing? It is the mind. Give an example. I'm just being basic because you're speaking of mind and yoga, Dhyan yoga. It's all about the mind. Let us say, in your mind, you thought that this cake is sweet. So your mind is prepared for what? Sweet taste. And if you put in your mouth, it has a salty taste. How do you react? Did it happen to you? Never. It happened to me.
No, it happened once. My daughter made something and it turned out to be there was a cake, some red velvet cake she was trying. And it turned out to be very salty because suddenly certain ingredients, I didn't have it. The first thing is my son takes it because it's always the sister makes, brother will have it. So he had it and it was salty. But he still did not say anything to her. He said it's very nice. And then when she herself had it, she started crying. She said, why did you have it? It's so bad. So it was like, still he took it, he accepted it.
Yeah, so the mind is prepared for a sweet taste and you put a salty taste. So there is a jerk, right, in the mind. So where's the taste? In the mind. You're all prepared for the sweet taste, right? So mean what I'm saying, innocently. All right? Innocently, because there's no intelligence, no science for you to check whether it's salt went in there or sweet, right? So the mind rebels because a cake has to be sweet. How can a cake be salty? Right? Intelligence say it has to be sweet. Right? So the mind is the victim of whatever happens. So I'm explaining about mind. Alright. So now, so this mind, so you can write. So next time you'll say, mind, be ready. Maybe it is a salty taste. Maybe say dokla, I'm not a cake. Right?
So just like accepted that, then he accepted it. Even if it was salty, he accepted it as it happened because it hurts smiling. That should make sense.
So I'm just explaining how the mind works. So how it is the switchboard. It's the switchboard of all sensations. Alright, that's the mind. You need to understand this properly because you have to watch your mind. Alright? Yes. So anything. Because now when you come out from here, you should be able to observe the different layers of your own self. Alright? So the senses are visible. The skin for touch, the nose, it's an organ, the eyes, etc. These are visible to us. Mind is not visible. It is experienced, right? So, the training is to make the mind become our friend and not our enemy. So the way to do it is to give up the external objects that are not conducive to spiritual sensations. So, if a cake has eggs in it, right? A cake has eggs in it, you know it has eggs, right? So, you will think that I don't want a cake that has eggs, naturally, right? So you are giving up, you're not giving up the cake. You are giving up what? Yeah, the cake that contains eggs. That's all. Alright. So this is consciously, you're making your mind become your friend. And you are not allowing the mind to become your enemy by eating anything. Right? Just anything. Because the egg in the cake is detrimental to your spiritual upliftment. Alright? It is not sentimental. the whole item becomes tamas, right? 3 gunas, sattva gun, rajagun and tamagun, right? So something that tamasic has entered a cake. And you know, in the West, they put wine in cakes. It's horrible. They don't know what to do with wine. They put it in cakes. It's used here? Anyway, whatever. You get the point. You get the point. That if we use any ingredient that is tamasic, it damages the sattva gun of that ingredient or item, and therefore it has a tamasic or rajasic effect on your mind. So when Krishna is saying, make your mind your friend, it means give up all those items that will damage your consciousness. Right? So now this is about the mind. Huh? Now there is a further and more internal body. That body that we call your ahankar. Right? What is that ahankar? Aham mameti. Meaning that it belongs to me. Right? Again, I take see this because it's very obvious, very gross. The whole world knows about it. But in our own tiny lives, we have the exact same problem as what is visible outside. What is that problem? It is the sense of possessiveness. This belongs to me, right? So here, you know, some countries by the laws of nature have been given some resources, all right? Now, other people from outside, they thought, oh, here's some goodies, right? So let me, you know, like make some trade with them so that I can have their goodie. But in the course of making all those trade arrangements, they start fighting. All right, I don't know the intricacies. This is how materialistic people, that's how, you know, they make one program, then another program, right? How they start negotiating with each other. So while they negotiate, then they start fighting, right? So the whole idea, finally, what's happening? I should possess everything. It may be in your land, allocated to you by the laws of nature, by the Isha, the Ishwar, all right? We recited last week, we recited again, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Isha Vasyam meaning everything is owned and controlled by the Supreme Isha. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatam Jagat. Everything animate or inanimate in this entire creation has a proprietor, a controller and an enjoyer. This is called the Ishvara. And that Ishvara, Yena Ishavashyamidam sarvam yat kinchit jagatam jagat tena chaktena bhunjita. This Ishvara has given everybody a quota. Given everybody their quota. Their quota. Alright, you have your quota in your house also. Right? Your child, one child has this much, the other child has this much. Quota. Alright. So the Isha, he's not holding everything for himself, right? We are all his children. So he has given everybody a quota. And what is the last instruction there? The last instruction, Tena chaktena bhunjita ma grida kasasvi dhanam. You should not go and capture somebody else's quota. you should know to whom it belongs. To whom does it belong? To the Isha. The Isha has allocated, but the final proprietor is the Isha, the Ishwar. Whatever I have, even though it may be written in my name, actually it belongs to the Ishwar. So, this text 10, text 10, text 9 will say you should see equally all these different types of resources. Alright? You should be detached from all these resources. And second, text 10 is saying you should give up that sense of proprietorship. Because if you go on thinking this is mine, this has happened, you can't focus. Your mind is moving, right? How will you focus? This is the enemy of the yogi. Whatever type of yogi you may be, Ashtanga yogi or Bhakti yogi. In Bhakti yoga, we are using the japa, reciting the mantra and using the japa. We have the same problem as the Ashtanga yogi. Both system has one goal only. It is to focus the mind on the Ishvara. Method is different, but goal is same. So therefore, Krishna in this chapter is speaking of dhyana, meaning focusing the mind. So what is it that diverts the mind from being focused? This is what is being discussed in the preliminary sections. We are focused on? Yes. We don't need ornament. We don't need anything. And we become like, don't need everything. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. See, for us to be able to live this material world, we have to give up everything. Right? See, when we give up everything, doesn't mean that we have nothing. We have to remember this. According to this formula, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kinchit jagatam jagattena chaktena bhunjita magrida kasasvi dhanam. According to that formula, you will always have. Right? The Isha will make sure that you always have. What is required of us is the sense of possessiveness, which make me attached to that object, grab, focus my mind on it, so much that I cannot think of Krishna. You understand? It is not the object that is the problem. It is attachment, the sense of possessiveness, that it is mine and that somebody can take it away from me. This is the problem. You follow? Because what belongs to you, what I'm saying here, it is from the Shastras. From the Shastras, say what is given by the Supreme Lord cannot be taken away by anybody. Nobody can take away what has been given to you by the Supreme Lord. What you get and what you lose is what you get by your karma. Right? You acquire or you lose according to karma. But what Krishna gives you, you can never lose. Mm-hmm. Then people say she's without desire, she becomes silent like that. Arjun is saying, I don't want. Krishna saying, no, I want you to to take the whole kingdom. Krishna is giving the kingdom. But Krishna is teaching, and Arjuna is already in that mood of no attachment, no sense of possessiveness. So the Pandavas, they rule the entire kingdom, entire planet, with a sense of detachment, with non-possessiveness. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to Krishna. I'm doing it for Krishna's sake. I walk into the palace of Hastinapur on the order of Krishna. I sit on that throne of Hastinapur on the order of Krishna. It's a throne, it's a palace. It's all the opulences of Hastinapur is now with Yudhishthir. All right? And what is given by Krishna cannot be taken away. You follow? So possessiveness is the issue. Possession is not the issue. You able to follow this? Last week we spoke about that coconut. Yeah? We spoke of coconut. All right. So different analogies used. So one main analogy is that when the coconut is unripe, it's stuck completely to the shell, right? When the coconut becomes harder and harder, what happens to it? It separates, yes, it separates. We know fresh coconut, that water, I'm speaking difference between the water coconut and the one that is, dry. So, the Atma who has become mature in Krishna consciousness is that coconut that has dried up and separated itself from the shell. So, even though the pulp is still there with the shell, it's not identifying with the shell. And therefore you are able to remove it. Right?
So that means the soul which is there in the body,
yes,
is actually connected to Krishna.
yes,
Not with the body.
yes, yeah. Now we have given up our identification. See, we the soul, we are living in a material organism. The entire body consists of organs, right? And we are living in that body, what we call body. Actually, they are only sense organs and motor organs. That's what it is. Assembled together and we say, that's me. Is it correct? That's me. If my hand doesn't work and I have to amputate my hand, is it me? But I am identifying with all the bodily parts of my body. So this is a false understanding. I am separate, just like the coconut is separate from the shell. So when the shell cracks, we remove the shell, right? The whole coconut doesn't protest, right? What is not required is removed, right? So the soul is living in that body which is made of pieces. So, my hand, chop off my hand, is amputate the hand. Then my leg is not working, okay, you have to chop off the leg also, right? Then my eye, something is not working, cataract. I'm not joking, it is happening to us, right? So all the pieces are going out, but you're still living there, right? Now what you just said, Anisha ji, so it's like when you are no longer identifying with this body that's getting chopped off piece by piece, you identify with Krishna. Then this is you, the soul, you, the original person. You are now in Krishna consciousness. You are in thoughts of Krishna. Therefore, when your body falls apart, you stay with Krishna. And that, the real you, develops their own spiritual body. All right? I think we want to proceed now. I just had to recap so that you are able to situate the next verses. So that was about attachment, possessiveness. So then Krishna started to describe the physical activity. So in the beginning, it was what do we want to achieve when we are doing these practices, meaning we want to control the mind. And in order to be able to control the mind, I must give up the sense of false possession. All right? Now, from text 11-12, Krishna describes. So this is just, so that people understand. People always come to us and say they want to meditate. And Krishna is giving, and we say, yes, here's the Japamala. We'll show you how to meditate. No, I want something else. What they want, so we can open chapter 6, text 12 to 14 to 15 and describe. Can you do this? This is Ashtanga Yoga. So what should we do? To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and soft cloth. So to begin with, you have to go somewhere in the mountains, in the caves. All right? And then you should find a place where you cover it with deer skin. Because now you're alone, you're in the forest. Don't forget. What if snakes come? Right? Right? If cockroaches will run in this room, you will start screaming, right? Isn't it? If a lizard start, poor lizards start moving around on the wall, you say, get it out. Right? All your dhyan is gone. Right? What to speak, a little mouse runs. We all get up, especially the ladies, right? We don't like all this. Yeah. Actually, we have to learn to live with all entities. We are not the only living beings. So, in the forest, this yogi has to find a secluded place where nobody will disturb him or her. So very few women will go, right? Very few women will do it, right? So, the seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses and activities and fixing the mind on one point. I have spent half an hour to explain this. Now here you are. So you have prepared your mind. Now physically you have to sit down and do it. All right? One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line. So bodies should be erect and most of us we are slouching, right? One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. So I was told that the nose is a nerve center. So, and we don't close the eyes. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Right? So we know very well yogis when they try to meditate, right? If they think of women, they lose their power immediately. And they are always tested on this. Man or woman, right? If our minds start to get distracted, so bhakti yoga is very powerful, and therefore gradually, so of course, so it's not that we always remain in grihastha ashram, because see, with women especially, till end of life, it's always the family. Okay, so now we are on text 15. So we spend a lot of time again, but it's required, isn't it? Yes. We have to revise, isn't it? If we don't revise, we'll just be reading the text, so it doesn't sink in. Now, yunjamevam sadatmanam yoginiyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam matsamstham adhigacchati. Thus practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. All right? So I have spent quite a long time just preparing you for this verse. So number one, constant control. Meaning that even if my mind is going out of control, I have to bring it back. Right? If I lose control, I have to again catch control. Right? I can't say, okay, my mind is going out of control, so let it be. No. See, all of you are responsible parents, right? You know how you have controlled and guided a child, right? Similarly, we have to control and guide our own minds, right? So by practicing constant control of the body, the mind and activities, meaning our activities has to be regulated. So what are we doing here in this Krishna consciousness movement? We are giving knowledge. Number one, we are giving knowledge about what is to be done and what is not to be done. Right? This is the first thing. What is beneficial for you? What is not beneficial for you in terms of your actions, your activities? Just like I gave an example. Egg in cake. All right? We know it is not beneficial. So why should you prepare at home egg with cake or with rum, wine? Why should you do this? So our duty here is to tell you what to do, what not to do. And constantly controlling those activities. You say, anyway, I went to the market, I didn't get anything else. This is what was available, so I took it. Right? That's what we will do. But no, I'll say it's not available. I will not cook this. I will change my recipe. Right? So by thus practicing constant control of the body, mind and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, the yogi, his mind regulated, attains the kingdom of God. I already spoke about this. If at the time of death, I'm thinking of everything that I'm attached to, what will be my destination? So purport. The ultimate goal in practicing yoga is now clearly explained. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. One who seeks an improvement in health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi according to Bhagavad Gita. You know, I had one lady, she came to us many years back. So she came, very nice lady. So she came, she says, I want to do service. You give me some service. And she was elderly. She was in her 60s. So then I discovered that at home, almost every day she was having yoga classes. And so many, all her friends, relatives in the area, you know, they would come. And there was a yoga teacher who was charging, I don't know how much per day per student, okay? Per day per student. And they were everybody happily paying out that money. So I asked her, so it went on for I don't know how many years, 2-3 years. I say, any change? No. No change. Everybody went on with their bad habits. They only came for the yoga classes to improve their health, but they continued with all their bad habits. All right? So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you do not know the aim of yoga, then I told her, why are you doing time pass and money pass? You have too much. Right? Can you imagine how much we are squandering our money? Every day, I don't know how many women, fat women, coming together, right? Thinking I will lose weight and still not changing their lifestyles. And of course, the yoga teacher will not insist. Not like here in ISKCON, we will say, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. We are going to say it outright, right? But the yoga teacher will not say, right? He just wants them to come again and again and do time pass, kitty parties going on in yoga class, right? So Prabhupada is saying here, one who seeks an improvement in health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi. So he's not a yogi. But I'm doing yoga. So this nirvan, this word, have you heard this word nirvan? You've heard. Nirvan, you've heard? What does it mean, nirvan? Okay, so now it's being defined. What is nirvana? Know the cessation of material existence, which is nirvana. So nirvana is cessation of material existence. All right? So no does nirvana, cessation of material existence, entail one's entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. So nirvana is not a place beyond this material world and then you just merge in void. Shunya. Alright? So, Buddhism usually speaks of nirvana. Bhagavad Gita is speaking of nirvana. We are using the same term. The Buddhist philosophy is using the same term, nirvana. And for them it means void, shunya. Whereas here, Prabhupada is saying, there's nothing that is void in this world. Alright? The abode, rather, the cessation of material existence enables one to enter into the spiritual sky, the abode of the Lord. So when you live this material world, according to what Prabhupada is explaining here, this is the Vaishnava Acharyas, they are saying that this nirvana means the abode of the Supreme Lord, which is not at all void. The abode of the Lord is also clearly described in Bhagavad Gita, at that place where there is no need of sun, moon, electricity. All the planets in the spiritual kingdom are self-illuminated like the sun in the material sky. The kingdom of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are called Paramdhama, or superior abodes. So if I look up in the sky and I see all the stars, so why should I conclude that the spiritual world is void? There's no sun, there is no moon, and no light, and no stars. No. We cannot say that this is true, but they do not fulfill the same function. Here the material world is dark. Alright? The material world is dark, and therefore you need a light. So that light is the sun, is the moon, is electricity. But the spiritual world, there is no need of it, but it doesn't mean there is no light. So the light, so meaning the planets are self-illuminated. They're glowing. Each and every planet is glowing by itself. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein by the Lord himself, Matchitta, Matpara, Matsthanam, can attain real peace and can ultimately reach his supreme abode, Krishna Lok, known as Golok Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated, Goloka eva nivasatya khilatma bhutaha. The Lord, although residing always in his abode called Golok, is all-pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well, by dint of his superior spiritual energies. No one can enter the spiritual sky Vaikuntha or enter into the Lord's eternal abode Golok Vrindavan without the proper understanding of Krishna and his plenary expansion Vishnu. Therefore, a person working in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activity. Savai mana Krishna pada ravindaye. So I have already discussed this point about absorption of the mind in Krishna's activities. In the Vedas also, Shvetashvatar Upanishad 3.8, we learn, Tameva viditvati mrityum eti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality Godhead, Krishna. In other words, perfection of the yoga system is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feats to befool innocent people. Okay, give me some thoughts. Yeah.
It will take us away to Golokha.
Yes. Okay, I will just go on board. And I'll be just the last, so that we get the image. Huh? carry this with me. All right. So the point here, that what is the goal of yoga? It is attaining nirvana. All right. So now this nirvana, some philosophers, like the Buddhists, they believe this nirvana to be void. This is Buddhist. You know anything about the philosophy of Buddhists? So their understanding is that this material world is suffering. The entire philosophy of Buddhism is that the world is suffering, therefore how to get free of suffering. So there is a whole philosophy around it. So the ultimate thing is that if you dismantle this body, just like I had described, you amputate the hand, it gets rotten, you have to amputate the hand. Then you have to cut off the leg, it's rotten, right? Then your ears, then your eyes, bit by bit, right? But the soul is stuck in the subtle body, which is made of mind, intelligence, and ego. All right? We have three bodies. There is the gross body, subtle body, and the spiritual body. Gross, they are layered. They're layered, all right? So you got the gross, then you've got the subtle, then you've got the spiritual. The spiritual soul. That soul has become stunted. It got reduced. All right? Right now, all of us, our soul has become reduced. All right? And what is happening is that we have developed a gross body and subtle body. And this gross body has developed on account of the subtle body. Where our mind is, this is what type of body it will grow. So the mind grows the gross body. All right? Now, the yogi, what is he trying to do? So the Buddhist, so what they say, we will dismantle this gross body. All right? But because the subtle body doesn't die with the gross body, so we have to dismantle the subtle body also. So all yoga system, they want to dismantle the subtle body. I'm explaining to you scientifically. I mean, all of you like new here, the previous batch maybe heard, but they're not here. So I'm again doing the same thing. So gross body naturally, automatically dies. Subtle body doesn't die. So all yoga system has one goal, how to dismantle this subtle body. But when you have dismantled the subtle body, this is gone, right? This is gone. Your gross body and subtle body, everything is gone. But what is left? Yeah, what is self? So the Buddhists say it is void. That's their philosophy. They don't speak of soul. All right? They don't speak of soul. So it's all zero. What is left? Nothing. Zero. So what is existence? Zero. Shunya. Their philosophy is Shunya. It's called Shunyavad. Vad means their philosophy, what they speak. Shunyavad. This is Buddhist philosophy. And now Vaishnava philosophy say no. Nirvana is not void. Is not void. Nirvan means cessation of the gross and subtle body, but entering, this Atma will enter Golok Vrindavan. Yeah, so Buddhists, that you understood. So Vaishnava philosophy is saying no, this Atma, when it ceases all material existence, it will enter Golok Vrindavan. Now what is the difference between Golok Vrindavan and material world? Material world is dark, alright? And spiritual world, so because it's dark, therefore you need a sun, you need the moon, right? Because it's dark. By nature, it is dark. So therefore, by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord, within that darkness, a sun has been created, a moon has been created, so by its light, it can light up the world, right? And still we know we don't get light 24 hours, right? And some parts of the world do not even see the light. It's horrible. Some parts of the world, they don't see the light, they see 1 or 2 hours light. Isn't it? And some parts of the world, you only see daylight. Right? You can't understand how will you go to sleep if you're seeing only daylight. Right? And it's not a bright sun, it's just, the sun is not, it's still around. Right? So all these imbalances are there in the material world. But in the spiritual world, it is self-effulgent. Each and every planet, Prabhupada is explaining, is self-effulgent. Each and every planet in Vaikuntha, Golok, Vaikuntha Lok, they are self-effulgent. They have light, self-illuminating. Self-illuminating. Yeah, you don't require electricity. This lady, she's speaking about the body clock, you know. So she was saying how actually it's not that we look at our watch and understand the time, we look at the sun, right? So the body follows, if your body clock, meaning you should follow the trajectory of the sun. Meaning when the sun is rising, you should be up. And when the sun is setting, you should go to bed, right? So this is how the body works with the body clock. That's the body clock, right? And she was explaining that if, like, night means the body wants to sleep, and if you put up the light bulb, so you create a sensation that it is daytime, which is not real, right? So therefore you're not able to sleep. Therefore you create an entire program of work under artificial light. That's why we say night shift. And that's why you say I can work for UK, for US, Indian time. Alright? So how much damage has been done to the body? Right? You know, it's like this Kali Yuga, it's said to be the worst of all ages. But exactly how bad it is, you can know and understand only when bits and pieces of this information come to you. Right? We go on damaging our bodies, we go on creating new lifestyles, right? And we ourselves, parents, maybe we work like that. Maybe we'll send our child to work in the night, right? Why? Because of the daylight, electricity, when actually the sun has already set, right? Anyway, these are side points, but I'm just saying that so nirvan in this verse is actually referring to the abode of the Lord. All right. So other conditions will be given from text 16 onwards.